If you are frustrated in your business right now, there is one thing I know without a shadow of a doubt is bothering you. And when I say frustrated, I mean not just like a little bit irked about. Like you are frustrated. You are struggling, okay? And if you've missed this, please go check out my book, Design, Profit, and Prosper, or go check out the episode where I talk about the design process. Because I can tell you in the design process what the problem is. It's not ideation. It's not implementation. Production, for the most part, can be fixed. You are frustrated because of sales. You're frustrated because you're not making money. 100%, any designer I know, they're not frustrated because they're not creating everything they want to create, right? Unless they have a job, right? I'm talking about if you own your own design business and you're in charge of the way you do business, almost always it comes back down to sales. How are you doing in sales? If you're not making the kind of money that you want to be making, then you have a sales problem. And all of your frustration is wrapped around that. And even if you say, no, Carina, actually, I think I have an implementation problem, okay? So sometimes I hear that, because they have a blank screen on their computer and they're like, I'm frustrated because I don't know what to create. Well, the only reason you don't know what to create is because you haven't put a sales process in place to know what to design, right? That's what's going on there. So here is the deal. How do we get to a point where sales is not a frustration any longer? That's what we're trying to do as designers, right? As design business owners. If you're a designer that's working for in-house for a company, you don't have a sales problem. Why? Because you don't own a design business. You only do the first two pieces of the design process, which is ideation and implementation. That's it, okay? You're doing the first bit. So you don't have to worry about, you might have to worry about production, right? But usually there's a production assistant. You might be the production assistant, right? I talk to lots of designers who get out of design school thinking they're going to do these amazing creative things, and they end up as the production assistant at the company. I had a production assistant. I've done production work before as well. And so they get to do only number 3. They don't have to worry about sales, but they don't get any of the cool creative stuff at all. They just are in production, right? We have a production assistant at Carina Gardner Inc. Why? Because we have so much stuff that we are always producing, okay? So how do we get out of those things and worry about the sales piece? Because the sales piece is the part everyone gets frustrated with if they actually own their own design business. So I'm trying to qualify this because there's people are going to comment and say, well, my frustration is I have a blank canvas the whole time. Well, you have a blank canvas the whole time because you haven't thought about your sales process. Because if you saw your sales process and you were making money, I promise you wouldn't have a blank screen. I can't tell you, when your sales is going correctly, you are excited to sit down and design every day. If you're on my YouTube channel, you see me pointing this way because my computer is up, and that's where I do all my design work. Like, if I know I'm going to sell X amount of wallpaper, do you know what I do? I want to sit down and design more wallpaper, right? If I sell X amount of Cricut or Silhouette files, that gets me excited. I want to sit down and make more of those. So when I don't have a sales problem, I usually also do not have an implementation problem, an ideation problem, or a production problem because I am so excited about sales that I get the other ones done, right? So if you're frustrated right now, it is almost, I guarantee it, because of your sales process. And the only thing that's going to help you get better at it is learning, getting some education about being someone who can do sales. Now, I say that and people get really nervous because they're like, sales, that's so scary. And if you want to hear more about what I have to say about sales, you can get my book. It's in my book. I talk about the design process and I talk about sales because here's the thing. As designers, we actually have the easiest sales process ever. That's what's the craziest thing about this whole thing, is that we are very much passive salespeople. We get to just post what we do on the internet and let people buy it. There's not like usually a process where you have to actually meet with someone. You're not in a car dealership. It's just like so different. I say sales and people like panic. And I'm like, guys, it's like legitimately just add to cart. That's the button you want to your products. So we have to get to that next step so that sales make sense. Now, it's a little bit more, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's really the short end of it. And I know that if you really are having a sales issue, first of all, you should go get the book and go read what I have to say about all the different models, because I guarantee it's not just about sales. It's usually about a few of the other models that I talk about, which hopefully I'll have a chance to dig into other episodes about. But like once you start digging into these things, you're kind of like, oh, I'm missing this, and I'm missing this, and I'm missing this. Once you start realizing all the things you're missing, it becomes really obvious about why you're so frustrated. And here's the thing. I think people feel a lot of shame, especially designers. We feel a lot of shame because we're frustrated because we're not making money, so it must mean we're not a good designer. When actually, it has nothing to do whether your design work is good or not, especially at the very beginning. At the very beginning, it's more about the process of understanding sales. And once you get to a certain point, then first of all, you feel no more shame about it. But like once you get to that certain point, and those of you who have my PDF, The 5 Levels of Design, which you get in a design boot camp, usually that's where we'll give everyone that PDF, you start to see kind of where you are on the scale. And you're kind of like, oh, okay, I know where I need to go, right? I know where I need to go. And for most of you, it is just figuring out where to go. There shouldn't be any shame involved because sales doesn't always equal the best designer. I feel like I should say that again because people don't realize this. Sales does not always equal the best designer. It usually equals the designer who's willing to put themselves out there the most. So that's why sales is such an important part of that process. If you want to learn more, go grab the book on Amazon. I hope you can grab that and see what's going on there. If you want to join me in something more, you can come join me for a design boot camp. I don't know if I have one going on right now, but you can check my website at carinagardnercourses.com/designbootcamp. And we're going to talk about sales. We talk about it. We talk about wrong and right ways to go about it. And it's really very simple, you guys. Very simple. But it's so funny because the more I talk to designers, the more I'm like, it's like still a mindset shift. People want to think of it as one way and they want it a specific way. And then they're grumpy that it's not the way they want it to be or the way they've seen it on the internet. And then I have to pull them over here and be like, this is the way it actually is. And lots of them are like, nope, I don't want it to be that way. And because they don't want it to be that way, they end up not becoming designers. They're stuck in their current situation. They never pivot. They just keep spinning their wheels over and over and over again. And I see it all the time. Just continue to spin it. Like even though they know that if they do not change, they will never make more money or make any money at all, which is so sad. But you have to make the choice to make that shift, to make that change. All right, guys, hopefully that was helpful. So happy to have you here on the podcast. If you're on the Make and Design podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel because that way you'll get updates on all the new things that are going on here at Carina Gardner, Inc. And if you're on the YouTube channel, something special is coming to YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/Carina Gardner, which if you're on the podcast, make sure and go over and subscribe because in April, we are coming out with something special. So I think you're going to really enjoy it. We're going to be releasing some collections, talking about it and showing it off in ways that we have never done before. So we're really excited about this. Make sure and go check that out at youtube.com/Carina Gardner. Okay, see you guys.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.